Hello, Taurus. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Taurus is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It's totally free, doesn't cost anything. If there's anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Taurus, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we begin with the Six of Cups. This is a lot of connection. This is a lot of harmony going on in your environment right now. I think that you're open to making these connections. You're ready for this. You're ready for this moment to feel really good, right? And so with the sixes, I feel that there's always this idea of overcoming something. There's always this idea of balance being restored, harmony being restored in your life. Okay, so feels like a big win, right? It feels like the satisfaction of a big accomplishment. Let's see what's going on here. Let's put this into some context. What is this accomplishment? Well, there we've got the World or Universe card. So this is because of the completion of a project. This is because of you reaching the goal. You're reaching the finish line for something. Okay? This seems now it's a really, really big win. Right? This is the satisfaction that comes with achieving one of your really huge, unbelievably great goals. Okay. We've got a 5. Makes sense, right? Because we're restoring the balance. We're going from 5 to 6. Even if it's pentacles to cups, it doesn't matter. Right? The 5 to the 6 is the important energy shift. Okay? And the 5 is kind of that anxiety, it's that worry, it's the ground that's kind of shifting beneath your feet. And I think we're feeling very confident and very satisfied with what we're achieving here. And we've got a Knight of Wands, 10 of from a 5 to a 10. Yeah, that would make me feel pretty good too. All right. I think that this is the big win that you really need. Okay? And I think that this is really, I mean, it's kind of from rags to riches. Right? And it's from anxiety and worry and concern and things are not working out to, oh my God, things cannot be better. Okay? Let's see what our future card is. An 8 of Wands. Interesting. Fire and fire here. So this is something that you've committed yourself to. You're accomplishing this goal. It feels really good. But you can't just rest on your laurels here. You've got to keep going. There's more for you to do. Right? This is the big win that you need in order to further your plans, in order to continue. We thought this was that the accomplishment of this huge goal, yes, but it's not the end. We've got now your power card. This is just getting better and better. This is the Hierophant. This is your power card, your superpower card. And it is your superpower right now seems to be how sacred you hold your own dreams, your own life plans, goals, right? These huge, unbelievably great goals. You hold them very near and dear to your heart. I feel that they're very sacred to you. We've got the 2 of Cups. And we've got more wonderful earth energy with the Princess of Pentacles. A lot of good. See, we have Pentacles down here, Pentacles up here. Well, this is the Hierophant. This is earth energy too. Okay, so we've got Earth, even the World card, that's an earthy card. And then Earth up here, Earth up here. What we have in between all of this Earth, right, is the fire that we need and the water that we need. What we don't have is any air energy. You notice that, right? And I think the air energy, if there is any, it's here in this Prince of Wands. This is the air of fire. This is you in this fiery ambition, but with a fixed mind, a fixed intention. Right? You're not wavering. You're not quitting. Your path is single, unified, right? And so this is that commitment that you have. This is really, I mean, it's a very important Taurus trait, right? That commitment, that willingness to show up every day, that devotion, yeah. And it's this devotion to your ideal, to your will, to your decision. You told yourself, I'm going to do this. And now here you are on the vertical axis, you're doing it. You're doing it, and you're unlocking the rest of the future. You're unlocking really the whole universe for yourself. There is a lifting of restrictions with the universe or world card. So whatever this big win is, it really is allowing you then to pursue even greater heights, right? It's this big, huge finish line, but it's just kind of like, this is just the beginning. You know, really, really nice energy. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is the factor infinite and unknown. It's a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. We're going to put Robo-Duck right there on top, and we're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together. It will give us our confirmation at the end of the reading, okay? If at any point during the reading you feel like you know what that card is, I want you to put your prediction down in the comments, okay? We can make it an interactive group exercise of intuition. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. Let's take a look. We see that we have these two major arcana energies, the two, the universe and the Hierophant. And in some ways, the universe and the Hierophant is saying that you consider the entire universe to be sacred, right? And I feel that there's an identification now of yourself with the entire universe, that you kind of feel like you are not just in harmony with the universe, but that you are the universe, right? And so there's just this, it kind of feels like you're walking in tandem with spirit, that you are a co-creator with the universe, but I think it's a deeper, more fundamental identification than that. It really feels like a mystical experience, you know, where we experience that kind of unity. And I feel also with the Hierophant and the universe, I feel like it's kind of it seems like it's the way that you consider the universe to be your school. You know, it seems like in everything that you do, you're always trying to find the wisdom, the kind of sacred wisdom. Right? You're trying to always find the lesson in things, the meaning behind things. Right? I mean, it's not just the win, it feels good. Yeah, it's a really, really big win. But I think you're trying to understand the deeper implications of it. You hold things in such reverence in your life right now. And I think that's really important for you. Because I feel like it keeps you connected. It keeps you in that experience of wholeness, of oneness, right, with the universe. So we've got our major arcana energies. We've got our fire over here, which is the beginning, and then here, and then what comes next, right? So this is you being fixed in this goal, this accomplishment, which I think is really, it's one big thing. And it may be composed of many little pieces. But it's one commitment, and I feel like you devoted yourself to it utterly, and it's happening, right? It's going to be great. And then the next fire energy we see is kind of all over the place, right? Because I feel like this is kind of you now figuring out what your next plan is, what the next phase of things should be from now forward, right? So it's kind of... we still have this choice to make, you know. But we don't want to, this card's called swiftness, right? 8 of Wands. We don't want to delay. We don't want to invoke any of the swords cards. We don't have any swords here. We don't want any. Because it's not something that we have to sit down and pause and rest and mull it over and debate and write it down and figure, and, you know, there's no math that needs to be done right here. It's kind of, we get to this big accomplishment, and immediately you have to feel what's next. The will is almost instantaneous here. Yeah. There cannot be a hesitation here. Because I think the longer we hesitate, the further out of phase we get with this harmony that you're experiencing. So the longer, it's like if I were to ask you a question and I said, just answer immediately. Don't think about it. Just blurt something out. What is your greatest desire in life? Just blurt it out. The longer it takes for you to respond, and we can measure it with a timer, the longer it takes for you to respond, the further away we get from that spontaneity, from that pure spirit. Because in that interval, the mind is working. The mind is figuring, even if we don't really see it that way. So with this card, it really is requiring just an instant response. You get this big win, I feel like it's just kind of, you know exactly which way you're going next. Because I feel like there's a lot of options. I feel like I said, this is lifting a lot of restrictions from your life. So really now you can do anything you want. Right? The world now is your oyster. Okay? We've got the world, or universe. We've got the Princess of Pentacles. This infinite universe, you can manifest it any way you want. This is also infinite. But this is something that we are now choosing to mold and carve and make finite. And this is also infinite in the sense that it can be anything, but it has to be something, right? This is literally every possibility is open to you. And this here is you kind of picking what possibility you want and molding it, making it, creating it, manifesting it. Okay? So this is really, it's a good problem to have anyway. This is really, really good energy. The Five of Pentacles that we see down beneath the surface, this is that shaky ground that was beneath you. And I think that if this isn't something financial, this is something that ultimately has an implication with your earthly life. Okay, so if it is a spiritual kind of a spiritual anxiety that we might feel, or an emotional thing, kind of just some uncertainty in our life, it's something that is affecting you physically, that's affecting you in your physical movements. Okay, so it has that implication, but it could be something more subtle than that. It could be, it doesn't have to be job or career related, right? It could be about a relationship, it could be about some spiritual work, it could be about your creative pursuits. But whatever it is, trickles down to the physical realm. Okay, it trickles down to perhaps even some digestive issues, some queasiness in your stomach, that kind of sinking feeling. Sometimes we have that. We have an emotional anxiety or a spiritual anxiety or an angst. We feel it in our guts. It makes us feel a little queasy or nauseated sometimes. But I also feel like it has a financial component to it, or like it affects your living situation in some way. Yeah. Whatever it is, it feels like there is a need for stability in your life, right? You want to plant your feet firmly on the ground. Well, if you're out here in the universe and outer space, well, your feet aren't really firmly on the ground, are they? You're kind of floating here in the vastness of infinite space. So in some ways, I feel like this is a transcendence of whatever these worries are. And the Pentacles, especially the Five of Pentacles, reminds us that there will always be change. There will always be uncertainty, especially in our 3D life, So in some ways, the universe card is us transcending this and realizing that, the stable ground we think we have or we think we need, it's not really stable after all. I may think right now I'm sitting here, quiet and still. I'm not. We're hurtling through space at enormous speeds. My heart is beating, my blood is pumping. There are sounds just within the air around me. So there's no such thing as stillness or silence here in the 3D world, right? There's no such thing as that kind of stability. We get a 4 of something, which we don't have now, so we can't really illustrate it. But we think we want that 4, that stability. It's an illusion. Because we know once we get a 4, we're just invoking the 5 anyway. So in some ways, this universe card is us transcending the need for this kind of stability in our earthly life. But, having a 10 of Pentacles up here doesn't hurt, right? So we create that form of stability really above and beyond above and beyond the basic 4, right? But even the 10 It's not a permanent thing. And we know that. It's an even number. You can't have even numbers if you don't have odd numbers. You can't have rest if you don't have motion. Right? So we get this big win, and I think it satisfies really all of our immediate requirements for life, all of our basic needs, but more than that. I mean, this is richness. This is wealth. Right? And I like the key word for this, richness. It's not riches. It's not just having a lot of something. It's not just having a lot of money, though money is part of it. But it's a richness. It's more of a descriptive term. It talks about how we're experiencing life, the flavor, the richness of food. You think about that, or it's full of flavor. It has so much flavor, it's almost too much, right? In this case, because we have the Six of Cups too, I think it is real nice. I think it's the exact perfect amount of richness in your life, to the point where you feel an ease and a rest, and there might still be a lot of turmoil in your physical life, but we feel that bliss, we feel that security. And of course, having wealth, having this big win, and the financial component of it certainly helps put our heart at ease. Yeah, puts our heart at ease. And I think that this is, again, 10 of Pentacles. It's not just financial. This is really the ideal. This is your picture of your best life. And I feel like there's this satisfaction knowing that we're getting as close as we humanly can to this kind of perfection. This is the perfect 3D life, right? And I feel like we're getting very, very close to this kind of perfection. Okay, we certainly feel in the moment when this big win kind of happens. It's like hitting the jackpot on what are those? The slot machines, right? And all this money is pouring out of that slot machine. Think about how that might feel in that moment. Okay. Once that machine is done spitting out all those coins, and you realize, okay, you got to pick them up, you got to go cash them in, you got to count it, see how much you have, and see what to do with this money. Right? So it's not just, it's that moment of just sheer joy, right, and bliss where all the money's coming out of the slot machine, but then what? And I kind of look like I should be in Vegas right now, but I don't actually gamble. But I imagine this is that feeling. Okay? This is that moment of this really, really big win. In that moment, it is the most perfect day. It is the most joy we've ever experienced. This is the big win that you need, right? But then immediately upon the appearance of this big win, okay, now we've got more responsibility. Now we've got to figure out exactly what we're going to do next. And not figure out, just do. We've got to take the next step. Right? Because this is not the end. And I think what we really like to think is that this moment of bliss, that feeling we get when all the money's pouring out of the slot machine, that moment, we want that moment to last. And so we try to draw it out as long as possible. And that's the 6. The 6 is that harmony between when things are rising, gets to the very top, it crests, and then it comes down to back to reality. Now I've got to haul this big bucket of change, to the front of the casino and cash it in or whatever you do. So we want to suspend this moment in midair, this weightlessness, as long as possible. And that's the kind of feeling we have right here, where it's just in this moment, everything is perfect. This feels very good. And let's enjoy it, Let's enjoy it. Let's go to the path of the serpent now, because we've got this Hierophant. This is your power card. This is now kind of your understanding. The universe is teaching you what you're doing right. The universe is teaching you this kind of cosmic lesson, especially about our relationship with the 3D world. There will always be ups and downs. There will always be 5s and 10s, wins and losses, right? There will always be stability, followed by periods of uncertainty, followed by another period of stability. That's inevitable. But if we can if we can find more of these moments, these big wins, not just the financial win, but, the spiritual win, that feeling in our life. However we produce this feeling, it's this feeling that's so meaningful. This is what the Hierophant is holding sacred. Right? The Hierophant is that one that understands what is sacred, that learns and teaches what is sacred. And I think the universe is teaching you, and you are learning, you're teaching yourself what sort of experiences in life mean the most to you. And that's where we get now the Princess of Cups in the position of the environment. Right? And I think this is really our hopes and dreams. This is us realizing that we hold our dreams sacred and we're going to manifest them. And then she's going to get up here to that one. The princess and a princess, right? Water and earth. Our hopes and dreams now becoming reality. Okay, this is what we like. And there's a marriage between the two with the Two of Cups. There's this love, right? And it really, I think, is you falling in love with this sacredness, right? With this spiritual energy, with this divine energy. Falling in love with the process now of dreaming and manifesting that dream. And so now we've learned how we're going to create more of these moments. And all we have to do is continue to dream, right? Now, what I was going to say is that there's a connection between these two cards. The environment over here, this position of the Dove and Serpent spread is the environment, and this is what's within you, right? I feel like the lesson here, and what the Hierophant is learning, the wisdom that you are gaining through your experience of life, is that even in the midst of the most devastating changes or the most uncertain times or those losses or those lean years or whatever the five is saying to you, it's important that we keep dreaming. It's important that we keep aspiring to best life, to richness, right? It's important that we still have these hopes and dreams, that we still have these goals, right? These spiritual goals. Because a lot of the time, we're so concerned with our basic needs in life that we don't really have much effort or energy or time to devote toward these more subtle ponderings, longings, wishes, hopes, dreams. Yeah. It's kind of like you put your dreams on hold because you got to pay the bills. Yeah. And so that's something that we need to think about. That's something that we need to think about. There will always be problems, right? And there will always be dreams, and I think the two have to learn to live, together sometimes. And I think that you're learning this lesson about your own wishes, hopes, dreams, your own aspirations, and the potential for them to really become reality. This is solid earth energy here. But this is like the uncarved block. This is like the raw stone material, and we've got to chisel our life out of that. Indeed, it is from this raw material that we create that Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles is your best life. And this is going to be different for everybody. This is like a fingerprint, right? You have to dream. You have to have visions. You have to have wishes and hopes. So you know what you want this to look like. Okay? And then we start chiseling away at the raw material until we carve out our best life. And it's not going to look exactly like this because remember, this is the perfect ideal. And we can never fully attain the perfect ideal, but we can get darn close. Darn close. It's really, really beautiful energy today. I think that this is a very big win. This is the win that you need. I think in a couple of weeks you're going to see this materializing, and then we need to think of what's next. And it's all part of this process of carving out the best life piece by piece, win by win, moment by moment, dream by dream. Okay? And the Two of Cups, I think, is really that love that holds all of this together. Okay? And part of the Two of Cups, I think, is the difficulty that you might feel in your heart committing to just that one next goal, because now we realize all of these dreams that we have, each one can be this blissful jackpot moment, then it makes it a little bit more difficult to choose just one. And that's why maybe we have the Eight of Wands here to remind us that it doesn't matter which one you pick, which dream you pick next, right? But that you pick one and that you fulfill it, that you manifest it, that you carve it out. Maybe we're building this best life one coin at a time. Yeah. But it's really difficult to choose just one out of all these things that we love, all these dreams and hopes and wishes that we have. How do we pick just one to make our very next immediate kind of project, you know? And that's a good problem to have. But it's difficult. You pick one, it feels like you have to ignore the others, but you love them just as much. You hold them just as sacred as you do this one. So how is it possible to pick just one? Well, you're not really picking just one. But we have to do things in kind of a chronological order. You know, we can't do a million dreams at once. We've kind of got to narrow it down to how much time and energy and space, you know, we've got. You know what I mean? Let's look at the mystery card. What do we have for this one? I'm kind of thinking it's going to be I'm seeing another wheel type of image. Could be the Wheel of Fortune. I'm kind of thinking it's going to be like, maybe another Six of Cups, maybe another Universe card. The images are different in the Rider-Waite-Smith, so we don't have the same wheel formations for the Six of Cups. I was also thinking of Four of Wands, because in the Thoth deck, that's a wheel. But I guess it's either going to be an Ace of Pentacles or the Wheel of Fortune. I'm getting that wheel. I mean, it could be a Chariot, but that's not really what I'm seeing. If you have a prediction, put it down in the comments. Let's see what we have. Oh, bingo. Wheel of Fortune. This is the wheel. This is, for one, this is us understanding the process of things. Understanding that when we are on the wheel, when we're on the perimeter of the wheel, sometimes we'll be at the bottom, sometimes we'll be back on top. I think this is us at the bottom of the wheel, you know, where the rubber meets the road, feeling that we're getting kind of run over and squished. And then the Ten of Pentacles is us at the top of the wheel, where we get a really good view, a really nice perspective from up here, and it feels good. But what I think this is talking about, because these are the wheels, the harmony, the center of the tree of life with the six, right? I feel like the work for you is really getting to the center of the wheel. We're in the middle of this, we're the axle of the wheel. And we can see the wheel turning around us, but we're not moved by that. We don't lose our sense of harmony and bliss and joy, really, right? We don't lose this sense of weightlessness. We don't lose this sense of creative power because we are in the center of the wheel. So whether or not our life is our 3D life is now at the top of the wheel, or whether it's going back down to the bottom, we remain the same, right? We remain committed to what we believe in, committed to what we hold sacred, committed to this joy and bliss. It's like maybe that's the way to sustain this jackpot moment, is to realize that we're not on the perimeter. We're not on the outside rung of this wheel. We are the center of the wheel. And maybe that's the work, is to get ourselves to the center of the wheel. I also think this card, Jupiter energy, about expansiveness. And there's no limit to how large our life can be. The only thing that can limit that is us, our imagination. We stop dreaming, hoping and wishing, then our world is going to get smaller. But this is Jupiter. Jupiter expands. This is that expansive energy that wants to do more and more. This was the big win that you need. And then the next one is going to be even bigger and even bigger and even bigger. And it really is up to you. But you have to remain at the center of that, right? Unmoved in the fundamental way, unmoved by wins and losses, by flattery and criticism. We are still ourselves. You are still, solid and confident in yourself, even when life is up or down. Right? That we're in a fundamental spiritual way. We're not moved by that. Some people, they get a little bit of criticism, they get a little bit of bad news, and it throws them completely off track, right? Here's my cat, too. Sometimes people get a big win like this, and it throws them completely off track. They lose sight of what they're actually trying to do, and everything that they hold sacred is just, what? I forgot. I got all this success, all this money. I don't remember what I cared about yesterday. This is what I care about now, until that wheel turns and then we lose it, or we spend it, or, we realize that this is just not making us happy anymore, But if we're in the center of the wheel, we have this joy, this sacredness, this harmony, even when things are up and when things are down, and I think this is the work for you. Now we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, there's a link up top. There's one down below. New readings for Taurus every Monday and Friday. 6 a.m. Chicago time. I'm here every day. Come back, see me tomorrow. We can talk again. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. Does not cost you anything. Leave a comment for me. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know, Taurus, that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you, and I love you, and we're all in this together.